What's going on? If you clicked on this video, that means you have an interest in learning how to frag a hammer coral with a Dremel tool. Obviously, everybody wants the fancy bandsaw with the diamond drill tool, but instead we're going to be using the Dremel tool. Now, I do have a diamond bit rotary. What we're going to be working on is this colony here that I split in half a while back. It's a 4-head colony, and we're going to be taking 2 heads off. That way I could trade one for a different coral, and I can sell one. We have the little station set up with the frag plugs, just something to hold the frag plug straight up, so that way when you put the coral on it, you're not worrying about it falling off the coral. You can just kind of let it stand and do its thing. Let's go ahead and rip this coral out of the tank. As you can see, it's a nice 4-head hammer coral, and a couple of the stems are real nice. I got this from somebody who was breaking down his tank. I did not grow this coral myself. If I did, I would be very, very proud of it though. Now, this coral is very healthy, and you can tell by the flesh band going around the base. That's my favorite thing about the Euphyllia corals in terms of telling how healthy it is. Overall, the coral seems pretty healthy. I don't notice any big major issues. But what I do notice is that 2 of these stems are much shorter than the other 2 stems, as you can see in just a second. You can see it obviously is a 4-head coral, but 2 of them are a little farther apart than the other one. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on the frag plug already, so that way I'm not fumbling with all that stuff after. This gives the glue a chance to become tacky, so that way when you just put the coral frag on it, it will immediately glue to the frag, or at least much sooner than it would have if you didn't pre-glue. After that, make sure you put your lid on the glue. You can get distracted and the glue will come out. I'm using a Harbor Freight Drill Master Dremel, along with the diamond drill bit tip. So before you start cutting into everything, you obviously want to inspect the coral. You want to plan your route of attack. And I like to score it once on one side, about halfway through, make sure I am straight, I'm even, I'm going where I want to go, and then I will finish off the cut fully. In a perfect world, you leave at least an inch of skeleton. You don't want to be cutting too close to the flesh, because think of it as, you know, a guy in the top of a tree building the tree up from thin air. So he's kind of in a basket at the top of the tree. That's your coral. You don't want to chop off the bottom of the basket, essentially meaning you don't want to touch any of the tissue when you're going through the skeleton. You want it to be straight skeleton. The denser, the better. Because once you start going through tissue, and if you accidentally go through the bottom half of the head, it's game over. The coral may look nice for a while, but once it heals up and after a couple months, it will start to struggle and you will notice some jellying. But like I said, with the pre-glue, this stuff stuck straight onto the frag plugs, no issues. And just like that, we have 2 brand new frags. Just another example, bam. Everything stands up straight. It may take 30 seconds to dry, but that's no issues because we'll just leave it there to dry. While we're leaving it there to dry, let's go ahead and get this massive colony back in. Now, you can see me doing a little final inspection here. This is just me deciding that I cannot frag this coral any further. Could I? Absolutely. People have done it many times before with success. But you have to remember that these have, you know, pretty delicate skeletons. And if you go a little too rough, you do something a little too, you know, aggravating to the coral, you could shatter it or split it up the middle. Trust me, I've done it. Wait until that thing grows out quite a bit, because you just never know how fragile it is towards the top. And if it cracks and you have that little bit of wiggle room, you don't have to worry so much. These guys are going straight into the tank, and they look great just a couple hours after fragging. You know, the less the time they're out of the tank, the better. The less vibrations that come out of your Dremel, the better. Really make sure that your tip is as straight as possible. You can test this by turning the Dremel on, and if you see it vibrating, wiggling left and right as it spins, try and straighten it out so that way it doesn't move when you turn it on. The more it moves, the more vibrations. The more vibrations, the large potential there is for a crack. And you don't want your coral to crack. That's the last thing you want. So now that everything's back into the tank, the other colony is doing fine. I'm going to let him grow out probably until a 4-head frag again. And then we'll do the same thing, rinse and repeat. And that is how you frag your coral with a Dremel tool. Super simple, super easy. Just make sure you're doing everything right. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm using a Drill Master Dremel from Harbor Freight with a little drill tip. You can see me doing a little test run on making sure it is dead straight. As somebody who has used it crooked, it will crack your coral. And one of the most beautiful things about this hobby is that I traded one of these hammer corals for this decently sized chalice coral. I've never had a chalice coral before, and I've never done a trade. I've never had anybody accept a trade that I've offered them. So it was a pretty exciting moment for me. If you enjoyed content like this, go ahead and drop me a like, comment, tell me what I need to do better, and subscribe. It really makes my day watching that number go up, even if it is by one. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and all of your tank issues go away.